Avoid sugar. Bad sugar. That's the sweeping generalization you always hear. But isn't that a bit too simple? Let's drop the dogma. Today we're going behind the scenes of different varieties of sugar, starting with traditional unrefined plant sugars. Disaccharide sugars that crystallize straight from natural sap with minimal processing. They are the true originals, full of flavor, cherished for centuries, while the modern food industry destroyed the reputation of this category and overwhelmed us with trashy industrial sugar in all kinds of processed food. So let's start with jaggery, also called gur, one of the oldest and most traditional sugars. For over 2,000 years, families boiled sugar cane or palm sap over open fires and poured it into molds. The result is rich and smoky, almost toffee-like, with deep caramel notes, hints of earthiness, and subtle molasses warmth. The taste closely recalls smoked wood and sun-baked fields. Today, jaggery is still offered at temples, given to newlyweds as a symbol of a sweet married life, and used in Ayurvedic medicine. If you want to give it a try in your kitchen, it works beautifully in spicy chutneys, lentil dishes, and cakes. Kansari is the lighter cousin of jaggery, and we're still very much in India. The production process is almost identical. Before boiling, the fresh cane juice is treated with natural clarifiers such as plant extracts or lime juice. This removes some impurities and excess color while preserving most of the molasses and minerals. The result is a lighter, golden to amber sugar with a cleaner, more delicate sweetness and decent caramel notes, less aggressive than jaggery, but still far richer and more complex than any modern brown sugar. Now we jump across the ocean to Latin America, where sugarcane met the New World and everything changed. Panela, also known as rapadura in Brazil or piloncillo in Mexico, carries one of the most fascinating colonial stories in the sugar world. Farmers boiled fresh sugarcane juice in huge copper or iron kettles over wood fires for hours, stirring constantly until it reached the perfect thick consistency. Then it was poured into wooden molds or leaves to cool into solid blocks or cones. The aroma is powerful and complex, intense caramel, toasted sugar, with beautiful fruity and earthy undertones that white sugar could never dream of. In rural Latin America, it became much more than a sweetener, a symbol of resilience, celebration, and everyday survival. Kokuto, literally black sugar, mainly from Okinawa and the Amami Islands, has its own proud story. The fresh juice is slowly boiled in large iron pots over wood or sugarcane bagasse fires for many hours, until it crystallizes into dark, irregular blocks. The result is a very dark, rich sugar with intense molasses, burnt caramel, subtle licorice, and minerality. Many describe it as having an umami-like depth. It has a protected status in Japan and is considered a symbol of Okinawan identity and longevity. Staying in the tropical belt, we move from sugarcane to palm trees. Coconut sugar from Southeast Asia, especially Indonesia, comes from the sap of coconut flower buds. Harvesting the sap is an art that requires skill and courage. Climbers scale the tall trunks at dawn, cut the flower stalks, and attach bamboo tubes to catch the sweet nectar. The collected nectar is gently boiled down until it becomes caramel, then sieved into powder and dried. Good quality coconut sugar tastes like warm butterscotch and toasted nuttiness, never like coconut. Sustainable and versatile, it transforms both savory soy sauces and traditional desserts. Very closely related, and often overlapping in tradition, is palm sugar, made from a variety of palms across Asia and Africa. Some palm sugars are deeply caramel and smoky, others fruity or wine-like. A very rich and complex one is gula aren from Indonesia. Deep caramel, toasted notes, subtle smokiness, sometimes a faint fruity or chocolatey undertone, still used in traditional sweets, sauces, and religious offerings. These unrefined disaccharides are not just sweeteners, they are living history, full of stories, rituals, and real flavor that the industrial world has spent decades trying to erase. After the completely unrefined originals, we move to sugarcane crystallized sugars that still keep most of their molasses and soul, but have received a light, traditional touch of processing. These are the in-between sugars. Muscovado is one of the darkest and most intense, strong molasses, dark caramel, hints of rum, a pleasant bitter edge, a powerhouse in the kitchen. Demerara sugar originated in the Demerara region of Guyana, larger crunchy golden crystals with a thin molasses coat. Melts between 170 and 180 degrees Celsius. perfect as a finishing sugar. Turbinado is the lightest in this group. Sparkling crystals, gentle caramel, clean finish, the friendly gateway for people escaping white sugar. For many cooks and bakers, these sugars are a flavorful and generous alternative to fully industrialized refined sugars. And thanks to their higher melting points, often up to 185 degrees Celsius, they're easier to work with. Varieties, a traditional sugar from northern France and Belgium, made from caramelized beet syrup cooked down repeatedly until it crystallizes. Soft, slightly moist, gentle caramel flavor without cane molasses. Often confused with cassonade, but completely different. Cassonade is cane sugar. Varieties is caramelized beet sugar, essential for speculoos, waffles, tartas, and holiday pastries. Rock sugar, sugar grown into large, transparent crystals made by slowly cooling supersaturated sugar solutions over days or weeks. Clean, mild, neutral flavor, slow melting, essential in teas, herbal infusions, braises, and winter drinks. White sugar is the ultimate industrial product, clarified, filtered, boiled, centrifuged, bleached until only pure, sparkling white sucrose remains. Clean, neutral, dead. The backbone of ultra-processed food, and the main reason the phrase avoid sugar even exists. Historically, white sugar used to be a luxury good with status. Then, colonial plantations and industrial refining transformed it into the cheapest, most ubiquitous calorie on the planet. Brown sugar is the clever marketing trick that followed. Most commercial brown sugar is simply white sugar with molasses stirred back in. It looks natural. It feels natural. But it is not. Powdered sugar, icing sugar, goes one step further, ground to dust, mixed with starch, zero personality, perfect for industrial frosting and dusting. These fully refined sugars are the complete opposite of the natural, culture-carrying sugars we explored at the beginning. Efficient, cheap, stable, and stripped of story, place, and soul. And in the end, all of them, from natural, culture-carrying sugars to fully refined industrial ones, reduce biochemically to the same basic components: glucose, fructose, galactose, and maltose. These fully refined sugars are the complete opposite of the natural sweeteners humans relied on for thousands of years. Long before sugarcane crystallization was discovered, honey was the primary source of sweetness, a natural blend of glucose and fructose, created by bees over 8,000 years ago. Isn't it fascinating? Between 300 and 600 distinct honey types exist worldwide, and countless regional variations. This diversity is a unique quality no other sugar can offer, a sweetness shaped by flowers, climate, season, and living enzymes. Agave, a slow-growing succulent, is the source of the popular agave syrup. Historically, its roots reach back thousands of years to ancient Mesoamerican cultures, who used agave for food, drink, medicine, fiber, and ritual. The plant stores sunlight for 7 to 10 years before it can be harvested. When it reaches maturity, farmers cut away the leaves to expose the core, the piña, named for its resemblance to a giant pineapple. A shallow cavity is carved into the heart, and the plant begins to release its sap. The fresh sap is filtered to remove fibers and minerals, then gently heated. Heat breaks down the complex carbohydrates into simpler sugars, mainly fructose and glucose, transforming the clear sap into a smooth, glassy syrup. Depending on temperature and reduction time, the syrup ranges from light to amber to dark. The stronger the Maillard reaction, the more intense the caramelization and nutty notes. Date syrup. For ancient cultures in the Middle East, the date palm was a sacred tree, food, medicine, shade, and life in the desert. When dates were simmered in water and slowly reduced over fire, they transformed into a thick, dark syrup, rich, fruity, caramel-like, and deeply nourishing. This syrup sweetened breads, porridges, drinks, and ceremonial dishes long before refined sugar existed. The process is simple, almost timeless. Ripe dates are soaked, softened, and gently cooked until they collapse. The liquid is strained and slowly cooked down until it becomes a thick, dark syrup, warm and earthy in character. The smoking point is relatively low, between 150 and 170 degrees Celsius. That's 302 to 338 degrees Fahrenheit. It's ideal for baking and glazing. Rice syrup. You might think it's a modern innovation, but not at all. More than 1,000 years ago, Chinese fermenters were already exploring how to unlock the sweetness hidden in rice by breaking down starch during fermentation. The process starts with cooked rice enzymes, traditionally from sprouted barley, today often added directly, break down the rice starches into simpler sugars. The mixture is heated and slowly reduced until it becomes a thick amber syrup with a mild malty flavor. Biochemically, rice syrup is dominated by maltose and glucose. This makes it less sweet than honey or agave, but far more heat stable. A smoke point between 204 and 221 degrees Celsius, that's 400 to 430 degrees Fahrenheit, combined with its neutral taste, makes rice syrup easy to handle for cooking and baking. Maple syrup is the sweetness of the northern indigenous peoples. Thousands of years ago, long before written records, communities across North America tapped maple trees as winter loosened its grip. For them, the rising sap was a seasonal gift. The harvest depends on climate. Cold nights and warmer days create pressure inside the tree. The sap is pushed upward, then a small tap is inserted, and the clear, watery sap drips out, almost flavorless. As always, the transformation happens during cooking. The sap is heated for hours, water evaporates, sugars concentrate, and the color deepens from pale gold to dark amber. Imagine, it takes roughly 40 liters of sap to make 1 liter of syrup. Biochemically, maple syrup is mostly sucrose, with small amounts of glucose, minerals, and aromatic compounds that give it its signature wood caramel profile. The smoke point is comparable to rice syrup, 204 to 232 degrees Celsius, that's 400 to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, making it one of the most heat-stable natural syrups.